Hello viewers. Welcome to a new tour guide. Today we will know about the state of Alaska in the United States of America. This is the first episode. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, so let's go. Alaska is by far the largest state of the United States of America by land area. Nicknamed the last frontier, Alaska is sparsely populated with a harsh climate but incredible scenery. Separated from Canada's lower 48 inches, Alaska can be a challenging destination. The most state is in the Arctic. Besides vast forests and tundra, Alaska contains the 10 highest mountain peaks in the United States, including Denali, the highest in North America. Regions of Alaska. In southeastern Alaska is the Panhandle and the Inland Passage. In south-central Alaska is Anchorage and the Kenai Peninsula. In southwestern Alaska is Alaskan Peninsula and various islands, including the Aleutian Islands. In interior Alaska is Fairbanks, Yukon River. In the Arctic Alaska are Utqiaġvik, Nome, and Kotzebue. Cities of Alaska. 1. Juneau, state capital and third largest city. 2. Anchorage, Alaska's largest city. 3. Utqiaġvik, northernmost city in the United States and North America. 4. Deadhorse, Alaska's oil center. The production facilities can only be accessed by tours. 5. Dutch Harbor, the largest community in the Aleutian Islands. 6. Fairbanks, Alaska's second largest city. 7. Homer, halibut fishing capital of the world. Kachemak Bay State Park, Katmai National Park. 8. Ketchikan, Alaska's southernmost city and the first Alaska port for northbound cruise ship travelers. 9. Kodiak, the island town. Other destinations of Alaska. 1. Denali National Park. Whether climbing or admiring, the crowning jewel of North America's highest peak is the awe-inspiring 20,320-foot Denali. 2. Gates of the Arctic National Park. Traveling through this vast wilderness, you will discover craggy ridges, glacier-carved valleys, and fragile flowers. 3. Glacier Bay National Park. The marine wilderness of Glacier Bay National Park and Preserve includes tidewater glaciers, snow-capped mountain ranges, ocean coastlines, deep fjords, and freshwater rivers and lakes. 4. Katmai National Park. Famous for volcanoes, brown bears, pristine waterways with abundant fish, remote wilderness, and a rugged coastline. 5. Kenai National Wildlife Refuge is a massive wilderness of mountains and lakes, swarming with wildlife. 6. Kenai Fjords National Park. A land where the ice age still lingers, where glaciers, earthquakes, and ocean storms are the architects. 7. Lake Clark National Park and Preserve. The park was created to protect scenic beauty like volcanoes, glaciers, wild rivers and waterfalls, fish and wildlife populations, watersheds essential for red salmon, and residents' traditional lifestyle. Lake Clark's spectacular scenery provides an authentic wilderness experience for those who visit. 8. Wrangell Street. Elias National Park and Preserve. Chugach, Wrangell, and St. Elias mountain ranges converge here in what is often referred to as the Mountain Kingdom of North America. It has the continent's largest assemblage of glaciers and the most incredible collection of peaks above 16,000 feet. 9. Yukon. Charlie Rivers National Preserve, along the Canadian border in central Alaska. Understand about Alaska. In 1867, the territory of Alaska was purchased from the Russian Empire for $7.2 million. For many years people referred to the acquisition as Seward's Folly, named for Secretary of State William H. Seward, who made the deal. They viewed Alaska as a frozen wasteland, not realizing it would turn out to be one of the United States' richest resources for gold and oil. It took until 1959 for the territory to become a state of the Union. Most of the land is still wilderness. Nicknamed the last frontier, Alaska keeps the spirit of the Wild West alive. Most maps of the U.S. represent the size of Alaska inaccurately. Despite what you might think, the state is positively massive, more than twice the size of Texas, and most of its northern parts are incredibly sparsely populated. Many places are only reachable by air or water. Roads take a toll from the harsh climate, so carefully plan your itinerary before heading out. That being said, a truly breathtaking environment will more than make up for the hardships of getting there and around. The size also varies with moderate rainy climates in the south and ice desert in places like Utqiaġvik or Barrow. See also winter in North America. The fact that it was only colonized relatively lately makes for a relatively strong presence of native populations who still own large parts of the land, along with state and federal government entities. Alaska observes all the federal holidays, except Columbus Day, and adds Seward's Day, which is last Monday in March, and Alaska Day, which is October 18th. However, some cities and towns with a large population of federal workers or military personnel may observe Columbus Day anyway. Talk about Alaska. Alaska, of course, speaks English, but many other languages are spoken there, including Inupiat, Central Siberian Yupik, Central Alaskan Yupik, Alutiiq, Aleut, Dena'ina, Deg-Shinig, Holykachuk, Koyukon, Upper Kuskokwim, Gwich'an, Lower Tanana, Upper Tanana, Tanacross, Han, Otna, Ayak, Tlingit, Haida, and Coast Shimshian. There are some Russian languages spoken. In Nikolaevsk, Russian is more spoken than English. Get in Alaska. By plane in Alaska, Anchorage, and to a lesser extent Fairbanks, are served by Alaska Airlines and Delta Air Lines year-round from the lower 48, mainly from Seattle and other cities in the lower 48, such as from Denver on United. Juneau, Ketchikan, Petersburg, Sitka, and Wrangell are also served by daily jet service through Alaska Airlines flights originating in Seattle and terminating in Anchorage on a point-to-point routing system. Other airlines such as Air Canada, Allegiant Air, American Airlines, Sun Country, and other international carriers offer service to Anchorage on a seasonal basis rather than year-round. Other communities are served by an extensive regional and local air services system from Anchorage, Fairbanks, Juneau, and Ketchikan, the state's 4 largest urban areas. Because of vast distances and the limited number of roads, air travel is the cheapest and most efficient form of transportation in and out of the state. Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport accommodates the upsurge in tourism and serves over 5 million passengers annually. Anchorage International is a massive and clean airport that isn't very crowded. It has many different amenities for waiting for passengers to enjoy. They have everything from shops, restaurants, duty-free shops, and bars by where you board your plane. Be sure to check out the various animal displays for an early look at some of the state's more challenging to find inhabitants. A record-size halibut can be found just below the stairs that lead from the main concourses to baggage claim. Below that, you'll find several other animal specimens worth a glance on your way to your rental car or other transportation. The biggest problem with flying into Anchorage is that if you're not staying in Anchorage, you will need to take a long drive to wherever your destination is. Most people just rent a car, which can be costly. If you are visiting family, you are better off having them come and pick you up by the security screening area or meet you at the baggage claim area. No one likes to embark on a long drive after a long flight, but the scenery you will see will make you forget all about the long-distance journey. Fairbanks International Airport offers essential services for travelers. Get in by car in Alaska. Alaska is connected to the contiguous U.S. through Canada via the Alaska Highway. The highway is paved and maintained year-round. Sometimes it can seem a little over-maintained, creating a uniquely Alaskan and Canadian situation. At any given time in the summer, you're bound to hit at least several dozen miles of road construction. Since the roads in construction zones usually have only one working lane and, due to the scarcity of roads in the rural areas, there are not always alternate routes available, the construction companies operate pilot cars, usually pickup trucks with yellow rotating beacons and large signs that say, "Follow me." They drive back and forth between the two ends of the construction zone and lead the vehicles safely to the other end. Depending on the length of the construction zone, the wait can be anywhere from 10 minutes to several hours. Since there's only one main road, you can't drive around the construction. The streets that aren't being worked on are usually in excellent condition. Considering the winter conditions, the roads are in perfect condition. Every year Alaska gets hit with tons of snow, and the roads take a pounding because of all the weight and plowing that must occur. It is easy to complain about all the construction, but people would complain more about the road conditions without it. Most of Alaska's highways are smooth and freshly paved. All-terrain vehicles are very common for natives to use when traveling short distances. Be careful of them while you're driving because they come out from all areas, both on-road and off-road. If you're planning to drive to or around Alaska, make sure to pick up a copy of the Milepost, which is widely regarded as the premier road guide for Western Canada and Alaska. Most roads in these regions have small white posts every mile or so, indicating the number of miles from the start of the road. The Milepost has extremely detailed route descriptions of all roads, pointing out everything from scenic viewpoints and campgrounds to the names of small creeks the streets pass over. If you're flying into Anchorage and then driving around the state, pick up a copy of the Milepost at one of the local Costco's or Walmarts. The price, there is around half of the list price. Driving distances in Alaska may be far greater than you are used to. Although the speed limit on most of the paved highways in the state is set at 105 km per hour, there are lower limits near towns. These are not freeways in highway safety corridors, most notably on the Parks and Seward highways. Safe passing zones are limited on many stretches of road. You are likely to encounter large numbers of semi-trucks, particularly on the Parks, Elliott, and Dalton highways, as well as private vehicles hauling large tow-behind trailers. Take extra care when attempting to pass these vehicles, as they may be longer than they appear to be from behind. There may be restrictions on which highway rental vehicles may be taken on. The Dalton, Denali, Steese, and Casher highways, and the Nebezna and McCarthy roads, in particular, are considered no-goss by many vehicle rental companies. If your rental vehicle is damaged on one of these routes, insurance purchased through the rental company may not cover repair or retrieval expenses. Always check for restrictions before making plans to travel any of the state's unpaved highways. Go prepared if you are traveling on one of the state's unpaved roads. Distances between services are frequently significant. The weather can change rapidly and without warning, and many states outside the population centers lack cell service. Travelers on the Dalton, upper reaches of the Elliott, Steese, and Denali highways are incredibly well advised to carry extra fuel, at least one spare tire, and essential survival gear. Some rental car companies may offer one-way rentals in and out of the state in the shoulders of the tourist season, one way into the state before summer, and one way out of the state after summer. Check with each agency for details. Suppose an immigration issue prevents you from entering Canada. In that case, you may not enter Alaska by car from the contiguous U.S.-Canadian customs regulations state that Canadian residents may not rent a vehicle in the United States and drive it into Canada. By boat in Alaska, the Alaska Marine Highway System operates a ferry service from Bellingham, Washington, up the beautiful Inside Passage to Haines. Plan your travel early as this service tends to fill up fast. A connecting ferry can take you to Whittier, from which the Alaska Railroad connects to Anchorage. The Marine Highway operates alongside south-central Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, and Prince William Sound. Some private companies use shuttle vans between Whittier and Anchorage. The combination rail or highway tunnel allows road traffic in alternating directions every half hour. There is only one rental company in Whittier, Avis, operating seasonally with a limited number of cars. If you're arriving by ship without a vehicle and want to drive to Anchorage, make reservations well in advance for one-way rentals and be prepared to pay an extremely high rate and a substantial one-way drop fee. Unless you've got 5 people and tons of luggage, it's usually better to make alternate arrangements to Anchorage and rent a vehicle there. As mentioned above, Avis also offers one-way rentals from Skagway to the rest of Alaska. The only road from Skagway to the rest of Alaska travels through Canada. Various cruise lines sail up the Inside Passage as well, typically ending in Seward or Whittier. These cruise lines usually, but not always, so check, provide transportation to Anchorage and may even include package tours or your return air travel out of the state. Cruises depart from Seattle, Vancouver, and even San Francisco. Boats are a necessity in a lot of areas of Alaska. There are still many natives who rely on their boats to get them into town for shopping. If you are going on a fishing or hunting trip, chances are you will have to take a boat to get to your destination. You can drive into town from the airport and park your car at a loading dock for either short-term or long-term parking. From there, you can either board your private boat or take a commercial boat to where you need to go. Many hunting and fishing expeditions will have a boat ready for you at a particular time to get you where you need to be for your adventure. Alaskan natives will bring their boats to these docks and park them there while shopping. They will load up and take the trip back to their respective house or cabin when they're done. This process can sometimes be difficult and strenuous, especially for older adults and younger children. The Yukon River once played a huge role in accessing the interior of Alaska. Commercial steamboats once operated in the region, and goods are still transported into remote interior areas. Some other rivers are also navigable. Though there is nothing that smacks of passenger service, it is theoretically possible though difficult to arrange a ride on a cargo ship. Still, you will have to do your research. By bus in Alaska. Given the distances involved and the fare required to travel those distances, the cost of taking a bus from Canada and the lower 48 to Alaska versus flying is about the same. See, by bus, under, getting around, for a list of bus companies offering intrastate services within Alaska. From Whitehorse, Alaska, Yukon Trails provide service to Fairbanks via Dawson City. From Prince Rupert, you can continue north to the southeastern panhandle of Alaska via Ketchikan by ferry, or you can begin the ferry journey from Bellingham, Washington, to the southeast panhandle as well. The only option for travel to Alaska without a car from the lower 48 is by ferry or by plane. This is all about the first episode. Thank you for watching this video entirely. If you want, you can watch the other tour guides of the USA. If you like this video, I will say again, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.